Passing. No one wants to learn how to pass the ball. I know it's one of the most boring things to learn in soccer, and if you're watching this video, it's probably because I'm forcing you to, and if I'm not forcing you to, then why are you here? Like I said, this is a really boring part of learning soccer, but it's also really embarrassing if you're a good player who doesn't know how to pass the ball. The reality is that being a good individual player will only take you so far in soccer, and if you want to win more games, you're gonna have to learn to use your teammates and pass the ball properly. Even the pro players that we think are really selfish know how to make elite passes, they just choose to pass less frequently. You'll have to come up with your own play style, but at the very least, you should know how to make a proper pass so you don't embarrass yourself. We're just gonna go over basic ground passes today. In another video, we'll go over lob passes, but you know what they say, you gotta learn how to sink before you can learn how to swim. At least I think so. You wanna get the f out of my shot? There are children around, this is an elementary school, I should be quiet. The first thing we gotta make sure we do is set our plant foot right next to the ball aimed at our target. Your plant foot's ankle should be slightly behind the ball, but the most important thing is making sure that it's set right next to the ball when you strike it. Once you get the hang of setting your plant foot next to the ball every time, then work on pointing your toe in the direction that you want the ball to go. Now you may be asking if this does anything physically or if it's just a visual cue, and I would tell you that this is just as important as your kicking foot striking the ball properly. Whichever direction you're pointing your toe, that's the direction your hips are going to swing into, and your hips will dictate the direction your leg will go. So remember to get your plant foot close to the ball, ankle slightly behind, and point your toe at the direction of your target. The next thing to worry about is your kicking foot. Think of kicking in soccer like golfing. When you're driving a golf ball, you perform a full circular motion, but when putting, you want to swing your putter as straight as possible the entire way through. It's the exact same thing in soccer. Your stronger kicks for getting the ball farther call for a more circular swinging motion, while ground passes, whether they're direct or lead passes, require a straight leg the entire way through. To me, that's the biggest thing that holds new players back from making good passes. Our foot naturally wants to pivot back into its forward position, and you have to keep teaching your muscles to pivot that foot outward while you're making those passes. Eventually, your muscles will learn to do this instinctually, and you won't even have to think about it. The next thing you want to do is much more dependent on your play style, but I end up doing a combination of picking my knee up and leaning my body to the side. Both of these are very slight, but combined allow you to hit the center of the ball. If you've seen my videos on shooting, you'll know that I talk about how this heavily dictates your maximum power. The reason you have to lean your body to the side when kicking is so that your foot hits the center of the ball. You get maximum power in your shot or pass when your kicking foot is even with your plant foot. The problem then comes in when you swing your leg into the ball and your plant foot is right next to it, because if your leg is straight, then your foot is going to scoop right under it. For shooting, we want a straight leg to maximize our power, but in passing, it's perfectly fine for us to bend our knee slightly. Again, I end up doing a combination of leaning to the side and picking my knee up, but you may find that bending your knee is good enough. The last trick I have for making a perfect ground pass is to strike the ball with the area of your foot right under your ankle. This, along with striking the center of the ball, is how I'm able to pass the ball with power without having it leave the ground for a second. A lot of players who are decent at passing still end up with a little bit of lift right at the beginning of their pass. We don't want the ball to leave the ground for two reasons. For one, we should always make it as easy as possible for our teammates to trap our passes. If you give your teammate a sloppy pass that lifts a few feet off the ground, then it's another thing for them to worry about on top of the defense already trying to kill them. Bringing the ball down takes precious time away from your teammate making a play, so make things as easy as possible for your teammates. There are definitely times when it's better to lob the ball to a teammate, but when possible, we should make things as easy as we can. The second reason we want to keep the ball on the ground is that it's more predictable for our teammate. If you play on grass like most people, you'll realize it's not perfectly level like the turf fields. There are small bumps covered by grass that make it look relatively even, but if that ball catches one of those bumps the wrong way, you could be looking at a very embarrassing turnover just because you don't know how to properly pass the ball. At the very least, you're making it harder for your teammate, which is bad. So again, keep your plant foot close to the ball, toe pointing in the direction of your target, kicking foot facing out, lean to the side, and strike the center of the ball with the area right under your ankle. Basic ground passes are deceptively simple, and there's a lot more that goes into them than what people normally give them credit for. I've seen way too many talented youth soccer players receiving club training who are not being properly taught how to pass the ball. And I know this is an issue with the training because these hardworking players then come to me to figure out the gaps that their club training is leaving out. I know passing is almost never considered the most exciting part of soccer, but not knowing how to properly pass the ball will seriously hold you or any other player back. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to those of you that have stuck around since I started this channel almost a year ago. I will be uploading more frequently, but thank you so much for sticking around since the beginning. Also, I still sleep on the middle school field, and it would be really nice if I could afford the custodian closet, so if you could please like and share this with your friends, watch it over and over, and I'll see you guys in the next one.